Hey, I'm Fayd, and this is going to be a quick Hellion tutorial. I'll put the most critical stuff at the beginning, and then I'll get more specific about, his attack patterns and stuff at the end. So starting off, I'm going to talk about gear. And as long as your gear is like maxed out T3, min level tier 4, you should be fine. Any weapon is okay. That being said, axes are the highest DPS in the game right now. Hammers are second highest DPS in the game right now. Both of them stagger heads amazingly. Hammers stagger everything decently. So if you're not good with one of those two weapons, I would suggest maybe picking one of them up. Swords are easy in anything, so if you're having trouble with something, pick up a sword. You won't kill it the fastest, but it'll be easier. If you're comfortable with swords anyways. Chain blades are not in a great spot right now. I won't say don't use them, because I like them. But their iframes come later in the dodge, like after you stop dashing. The Q doesn't work great, especially against big behemoths like Hellion. They're kind of niche in a lot of cases. Again, you can use them, and in any fight, you can use any weapon. It's possible to kill any behemoth with any weapon, solo or otherwise. It's just differing levels of difficulty. So Warpike's basically a sword that buffs your team. It's not bad at all, but you don't want more than one, because the more you have, the faster that you debuff the behemoth. True, but one person should be able to do it at the rate that their team is breaking parts, which means that having any more than that just lowers your overall DPS, since pikes don't have as much DPS as swords do, and that also means that they have much less DPS than axes and hammers do. Their Q also does not damage the scales. Like if you hit the scales on his back, it can break the flame scales, but it doesn't give you damage. It just breaks the scales, which means that it's actually very difficult to hit Hellion and deal damage to him unless you're right in his face or he's giving you, like this right here, a nice sideways profile. As far as supplies, healing potions are all you should need. If you take advantage of the stuff that I talk about, it won't be that difficult to kill this guy. But if you do want to bring everything, then by all means do it. Bring some lantern coolants or berserker pots and some healing pylons or team revives and your healing supply airdrop, all that stuff. That's fine. It's just not super necessary, and if you do need those things in a hunt, that might be a sign that you should just practice more in that hunt. So, since he's decided to aggro me, I'm going to start by talking about the first piece of information that is extremely helpful and makes the fight just magnitudes easier. This, when he falls over. Tons of free damage. He loves doing it. It's like his favorite thing. I swear to God, he will do it again in the next few seconds, and he will do it consistently throughout the entire fight until you cut off his tail. And once you cut off his tail, he's just like, okay, it's on now, and he stops doing this. Again, twice in a row, it just decides to flop over and give you damage. You're welcome. Hit me. So yeah, don't cut the tail off, especially if this is something you're having a lot of trouble with. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is these flaming scales on his back. You can break these while he's not in Aether mode, which is what just happened, by the way. That's called Aether mode, I believe. If you break them when he's not in Aether mode, it makes him take longer to get there. You want him to get into Aether mode, because whenever you break a flaming scale and he is in Aether mode, it drops these little orbs. And the scales come back nearly instantaneously. So these orbs give flame immunity. As you can see, I'm in lava. Nothing's happening. They give movement speed, again, as you could probably see. And they give attack speed. And for some reason in this game, attack speed works a little weird. It increases the speed of most of your animations. So your hammer charge, or your axe charge, will actually happen faster, which means you can charge faster, and It's like attack speed for your charges, as well as, you know, any other animation. It's going to be fast. Super, super amazing. Chainblade users, this is your moment. You can break those scales off better than anyone can. Just make sure not to break them unless he's in Aether mode, because that makes it take longer for him to get there, again, which lowers the time that you have this buff, because the more orbs you pick up, the longer the buff lasts. So it's actually possible for one person, maybe two, depending on how many you get, to have this buff for an entire fight. As in, as soon as he does it the first time, they will have the buff for the rest of the fight until he's dead. And the buff is amazing. Like with a Shroud weapon, I could honestly just go DPS him, no fucks given. And he would be dead. I wouldn't even have to dodge most of the time. So the next thing is how to DPS him in general for your first time. You don't want to worry about your break parts because you're not breaking the tail. You can't do what I'm doing here, this left click spam, because you get animation locked. And what that means, if you don't know yet, is let's say I right click and press spacebar immediately to dodge. I can't. I'm stuck in that right click. And that means that if I'm spam attacking, unless I get lucky like I just did there, I cannot dodge when he attacks me. So let's say I'm attacking, shit, I can't dodge. I'm fucked, right? What you want to be doing is hitting a couple times. Let's say 2 sword right clicks. I'll just list all of them right now. It's 1 or 2 hammer attacks, depending on if he decides to kick backwards or not. Usually it's 2 hammer attacks, though. Usually 2 charges on an axe attack. Sword is 2 right clicks or 2 left clicks. Chainblade, I believe 2 or 3 left clicks, depending. And pike is 3 left clicks or a left click and a right click. So that's your DPS window, usually, for Hellion. So see here, I got lucky again. If I'd kept attacking, I would have been lucky. Oh, he's staggered. Okay, I can keep hitting him. But then I need to pay attention. If I don't, I get hit like that. So I'm going to demonstrate this properly now. Well, I might wait for him to get out of Aether mode, because when he's in Aether mode, he really likes to throw out lava and stuff instead of actually hit you most of the time. So sometimes it's actually viable to just whack him a lot if you're somewhat tanky. Okay, here he goes. So you hit him a couple times and then you wait and dodge. Okay, he gave me an opening so I can get a combo. But then I wait and dodge. And I hit a couple more times. Wait, dodge. Hit a couple more times. Okay, I can keep hitting him. If he does something like that, you're not going to take damage. Keep hitting him until he's gone. But again, couple hits. Oh, free damage again because he's just running away. Oh, dodge. Thanks for the combo. And you do take some damage, like right there. He fell on me. I missed my iframes, no matter how good you are. And if you really want to be fancy like I just did right there on instinct, I attacked around the kick. You shouldn't be doing that if it's your first time. I apologize for that. It was yeah. Anyways, that's how you DPS with the legs. You just, even if they're broken, you keep hitting them. He gives you those opportunities like this. You keep hitting. Otherwise, you hit a couple times, those numbers that I listed earlier, and you wait and then dodge and hit more. Now onto the tail. This thing's annoying because when he uses tail attacks, it hits everywhere, or it can anyway. Not every time, but it has the potential to hit you when you're under him or in front of him near his head. Which means you have to dodge it no matter what. And because of how his tail attacks work, you have to dodge each one twice, except this one, because it's kind of like a stomp thing. It's not really a tail attack. So I'm going to show 1 or 2 of these tail attacks. He has 3, but sometimes you just won't use them. Here we go. 1. Okay, see how it had a backswing? That was the slowest backswing that he can use. And occasionally that one will not hurt you. But it's still important to dodge anyways, because again, sometimes it will hurt you. Just the backswing part. The other one will always hurt you. The first attack. That right there can sometimes even hurt you. Okay, so this is the faster, like one of the faster tail swings. Again, you have to dodge it twice. The fastest one that he has is a 360, and it's usually the less common one for him to use. But when he does use it, again, I don't know if I can get him to show it right now, but when he does do his 360, you have to dodge immediately twice. You have to recognize it while you're in your first dodge roll and just spacebar as fast as you can, or else you will get hit by it. There's no way to avoid it otherwise. The last thing that I can really say about Hellion is that when he enrages, which he won't do here since I'm not going to be finishing this fight, I'm not going to be really damaging him enough for that. But when he enrages, he's like a gnasher. He starts stomping around a ton, just in one spot though. And you can hit his tail for free, you can hit his head for free, as long as you're using low momentum attacks, which means like your sword, right. Yeah, that's pretty low momentum. You won't move very much. Which means like, let's say, okay, I'm on his head like that. If he wasn't moving, right, even if he's stomping, I'm not taking damage because I'm at his head, not his legs. If you are getting moved forward by your attacks, you can just kind of hit, roll back, hit, roll back, right? It's pretty simple. And if you're using sword right clicks or hammer / axe attacks, you can actually stagger him while he's enraging usually and cause him to fall over. That's more free damage. Then when he gets back up, he's going to start enraging again and let you hit his head for free again. And if you have a lot of axes and hammers, you can chain those together a couple times even and just keep knocking him out. That's all I can say about Hellion though. Good luck. It's the first tier 4 quest, so I'm sure it's going to be hard for a lot of people. I know I had a little bit of trouble with it myself. And yeah, have fun.